dancers, welcome back to the Whole Dancer YouTube channel. Today's topic is about defining healthy when it comes to food. So how do we know if something is healthy? When should we be wary of when that word is used? How do we define healthy for ourselves? So what is healthy? My personal definition of healthy are the foods that help to support your body, help to lift you up, help to get you closer toward your personal body goals because they're fully nourishing and supporting you, and that facilitate your highest level of energy when you're dancing. We have to be careful of how the word healthy is used. I guarantee if you search on the internet, you'll be able to find tons and tons of recipes and foods that are labeled as healthy. But the most important thing that you need to look at is if they actually meet your personal standards of health. So just because something is low fat does not make it healthy. So a recipe that is, maybe a pasta dish made with all kinds of low fat cheeses and low fat dairy, that's not healthy. Those low-fat dairy foods are some of the most processed foods out there. So that's not something that you want to go toward. Sometimes a food is labeled as healthy just because it is low in calories. And once again, there are all kinds of really bad foods that are super low in calories. A very easy, very processed, chemicalized food example would be something like Diet Coke. It has 0 calories, but there's nothing healthy about it. There's nothing good about Diet Coke that you should be putting into your body. As a dancer, with your body being your instrument, if you're consuming Diet Coke daily or any kind of soda for that matter, you need to eliminate it because it's not supporting you and it's not going to help you to maintain healthy bones and avoid injuries. When something is highly processed, it's not healthy. So you have to look at those packaged foods that you might be consuming and look at what the ingredients are. Most packaged foods are processed because, if something is made with flour, like crackers, flour is a highly processed food. It comes from a grain that's been ground and sometimes stripped of color, sometimes bleached if it's white flour. So you have to remember that all of those foods are highly processed and any packaged food is going to be processed in that way. Some packaged foods, just for an example, that would not be highly processed would be something like pickles, where they're taking a whole food, which is that pickling cucumber, and putting it in a jar and allowing it to sort of just sit in a vinegar mixture. Pickles are a great food. You've just got to watch the sodium because for some people it might be too much. As you look on the internet for different recipes, you've got to keep that whole healthy labeling thing in mind. Just because a recipe says it's healthy doesn't mean that it is. And when you find a recipe and you're like, oh, maybe this is healthy because it says, healthy scone recipe, you've then got to go and read the ingredients and see what's actually in it, what sweeteners are used. Hey, maybe it is a scone recipe where it's sweetened with banana instead of sugar. And that would be a better alternative. However, at the same time, when you're making scones, you are using flour, which once again is that processed food. It's not that it can't be incorporated into your meal plan, but you've got to watch it and make sure that it's not making up a big part of your meal plan. Once again, with the packaged foods, when you are reading those front of package labels, you've got to be wary because there's not as many regulations around front of packaging marketing labels as you might expect. So things like natural don't really have much regulation around them. So you might look at a package and say, oh, this is a natural food. That's good, right? It doesn't really mean anything because it's one of those labels that they can use sort of whenever they would like. And then there are some labels like organic or non-GMO where there are much stricter standards, and a company can't label something as organic or non-GMO unless it actually is for sure organic or non-GMO. So you have to do that investigative work as well and make sure that you're not sort of falling in these traps of, just listening to what a company is telling you. In order to create a healthy meal plan for yourself, it's really important that you stick to as many whole, unprocessed, unchanged foods as possible. So what foods are those? Fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, seeds, healthy fats like avocados, nut butters. These are the whole foods where very little is done to them. So you know that they're maintaining their nutrient content. And it's when you're getting that whole spectrum of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that your body is going to be fully energized. If you are feeling a depletion in energy and you've been sustaining yourself on Power bars or Cliff bars or something like that, where it's highly processed and full of sugars. That's why your energy is not staying stable or steady. If you're needing caffeine to power through your day, you need to go back and look at your food and see how you're incorporating those foods into your diet. So I just want you to really keep in mind this whole healthy concept and do a lot of detective work when something is labeled as healthy. Don't just trust it because, as I mentioned, people have different ideas of what's healthy. Low calorie does not instantly make something healthy. Low fat does not instantly make something healthy. You've got to do the work and do the research for yourself to find what fits in your personal meal plan that's going to help you reach your personal best dancer's body. Make sure that you're not just following your friend's advice blindly about what might be healthy, because once again, that could be a combination of both things that she's heard or read, and also the things that just personally work for her. We talk about that a lot at The Whole Dancer because we're all so different that unfortunately there's no single meal plan that I could recommend that's going to work for every single dancer. That's why it takes this knowledge and this learning about your personal body and how to use food to reach your best body that is so very necessary. So just because your friend says something is healthy doesn't mean that it necessarily is. We never know what her sources of information were or where she came up with that. As you move forward, how are you going to make healthier choices today? How are you going to define healthy for yourself? I'd love to hear. Share in the comments below. And if you'd like more from The Whole Dancer, feel free to visit over at the website, thewholedancer.com. And you can join The Whole Dancer email list at thewholedancer.com/sign up. Thanks so much again for tuning in, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for all the latest videos.